going to Indiana every summer had been a tradition that me and my sister have been doing since we moved to Omaha in 2011. And it was like the one thing out of the year that we look forward to the most because we meet up with our cousin. She lives in Richmond. And my other cousin lives in Indiana. So we all meet up every summer. It was like the funnest thing like I would look forward to it the whole year. And we'd like stay at my grandparents' house. Sometimes we'd stay for like a month. I remember one summer we stayed for like 3 months. So it was just like a really good time, just kind of, time to bond with my cousins, like have fun, be kids, do our thing. One of my fondest memories though that we always did was riding the UTV. So my grandparents used to have this like, late 90s, early 2000s red Corvette. It sat in the driveway for I don't know how many years. And one day my grandpa traded it for the UTV, which is kind of like a four-wheeler, but it's like a golf cart, but it's like a four-wheeler kind of. Anyway, so we'd always ride that because we were like 13 years old, so we couldn't drive. So being able to drive this every day was like it was just so fun. And we thought we were so cool, like whipping around. And my grandparents live on a 2-acre lot, so there was plenty of room to move around and drive the UTV. And we would take the same trail. It would kind of come from around the side of the house towards the back of the house, past the cornfield, kind of like you shoot up the yard, whip around. There's a pole barn over in this corner. I mean, you could go any way you wanted to, but that was like the main trail we would kind of take. And I remember one day I was upstairs watching Jersey Shore, and I had the window open, and I hear them laughing, and I hear the engine of the UTV going around the house. And I went up and looked outside the window. I see my cousin Alyssa. She's got, curly hair, she's bouncing in the wind. My sister Lauren, she's got her like little messy buns going in the wind. They're laughing. They're having a good time. I felt super left out. And so I stomped downstairs, through the dining room, went outside. Sorry. I was jealous. I felt super left out. So I went outside, and normally, I don't know why we did this, but like when we kind of wanted to get on the UTV, we would just walk out into the middle of the yard and just kind of stand there. And I saw them flying past me, kind of going this way towards the, and I was like, oh, cool, they're going to slow down. And as soon as they pulled up next to me, I was getting ready to walk on. They shoot it off like a classic move, It's like, haha, you guys are so funny. I let it slide, I take it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to let them have their fun, because normally when we drive, we'd like do 2 or 3 laps a person, and only 2 people would usually ride on it, and there's 3 of us, so, it's odd. So I went back up on the porch, I was just watching the wind chimes blowing in the wind, and, they kept going, having their laps, having a good time. After a few laps, I got kind of bored. I was like, okay, I want to go on the UTV. So I went back out, and they still kept going around me, and at one point I saw I had an opportunity. They were coming around the pole barn. When you go around the pole barn, you gotta slow down. So they're coming around this side, I go to the other side, I run over there, and I almost get to them, and they come out and I start chasing after them, and I was a dramatic child, and I know I wasn't like trying to be funny chasing after them, like I was pissed. I was like, I'm running after these girls, and finally, they come back around. There's a lilac bush when you kind of loop around the back of the house. The side of the house was like this big lilac bush. Usually, we'd like just go around it. You have to slow down. So I went to the other side of the lilac bush. They slowed down. I was like, finally, my sister Lauren got off, and then I hopped on, and then Alyssa, I pushed her over, and I sat in the driver's seat, put it in drive, and I was Jeff Gordon. I was flying all over the yard. I was driving so recklessly because I was so mad, but also I'm like, yo, I want to show you guys, like, I'm like this cool little, like, kid. Like, look at me. Like, I'm whipping around this UTV. And so I do a few laps. I'm driving recklessly. One thing that we always thought was funny was to pretend that we were going to crash into an object last minute, just, just for the adrenaline. And I was driving towards this large pine tree. My cousin Alyssa was with me, right? And I was driving towards it, looking at her, and she's like, dude, like, chill out, like, relax. Like, she was, like, actually kind of scared. Like, I was trying to scare her, but it was like, she was, like, scared. And last minute, I'm like, oh, what's that? And, like, I whipped it, and then we, like, went past the pine tree, did a couple more laps. I kind of wanted her to fall off. Not in, like, a fall-off way where she'd hurt herself, but just for, just for fun. I wasn't awful good. And towards the end of our laps, I'm coming back towards the back of the house. And my grandparents have an above ground pool, so there's a deck. So I come around the back of the deck, and I want to turn left, back towards the slide light bush over here, right? It's going like 30 miles an hour. Turning left, the wheel, it's not an actual car, so it gets a little stuck. And I cranked it too much, and I just went like this into the side of the deck. I think I blacked out for like a few seconds, because I remember I woke up, and my head was pounding. I didn't have a concussion, but my head was pounding. And I kind of got out of the UTV, and I was looking at it. The front driver's tire is sideways. And I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. My cousin Alyssa's sitting there, she's laughing. I was so upset with myself. And I was really hurt that she was laughing. Like it was nothing. I'm like, I'm literally, in that moment, I knew my ass was grass. And I remember our sister Lauren was on the porch. She comes down, and she was more concerned with the fact that she wasn't able to record it on her phone. I remember her saying that. And I was like, you guys really don't care. Like, I'm literally gonna die, and you guys are laughing and you wanted to record it. So I'm like, I started like, oh my gosh, I had to tell my grandparents. I felt horrible. Started walking upstairs, my throat was super dry, my heart's going like 100 miles an hour. I wanted to cry. I probably did start crying. I walked into the living room, I looked to the left, and my grandpa's sitting there, his little camo shorts and a Superman shirt on his computer, probably on eBay looking at CDs, like what he always does. I'm like, not telling him. Walked through the dining room, walked to my grandparents' room, my grandma was. She's sitting in her recliner, probably watching NCIS. And I go, Mima? She goes, what? Looks back at me. I'm like, we were riding the UTV, and then she stops me. She goes, you wrecked it, didn't you? I was like, yeah, and I started crying. She sits up from her recliner, god damn it, walks out. She walks out into the dining room, towards the living room. My grandpa's sitting there. She goes, Gene, they wrecked it. I remember there was some curse words being used at this moment, but it's irrelevant right now. They were pissed, and I was like crying. I was like, oh my god, like what did I just do? It's kind of like that thing where I was like, if I could just go back like 2 minutes and not be stupid, I would have a beautiful night right now. And I was walking behind them. They went outside. I was like, oh my god. I was like, crying behind them. We went out, looked at it. I don't really remember what was said. Obviously, it was probably like not good things. They were yelling at us. They were yelling at me and Alyssa. And Alyssa didn't even do anything besides sat in it. And I remember my grandma said, you can forget coming back next summer. I was like, whoa. Because that was like our thing, going to Indiana every summer. Like that was like what we did. And I remember I went upstairs, and I just cried in the guest bedroom. I was just crying. I felt horrible. I was so mad at myself. I was like, why would I do this? I'm such a stupid child. I was like, why was I being so reckless? I thought I was being funny. Not. I could have died. And later on, my grandma came back upstairs. She was telling me, she was like, hey, like, we just want you to get, like, obviously we're annoyed. It's really inconvenient that the UTV's a little messed up and our deck is, a little destroyed. We're not mad about the damage like that. They're just mad because we literally could have been hurt. I'm surprised we didn't get more hurt. Alyssa was fine. I think the only thing was like I had like a little bit of pounding, but it was not concussion. And she was saying that God was looking over us in that moment. Honestly, I think he was, because I don't know how I didn't die. Honestly, like it was so crazy. And one thing I got out of that was it really helped me mellow out. Like I feel like as a child I was very rambunctious, reckless, and I feel like my feelings would get the best of me, my anger sometimes. I feel like from that moment I was like, whoa, like I need to chill out. Like that, it was just like a lot in that moment, and it was just kind of like a learning lesson almost. I was like, okay, like why am I acting like this? And I feel like from that moment I mellowed out so much as a child. Like I got so chill, and I was like way less crazy. And my grandma, she came to me, she said, hey, you can come back next summer. Like I would never not like let you come back next summer. I love you guys. And I was like, thank you, Mom. And but yeah, the biggest thing I got from that was I just mellowed out so much after that. Yeah, I'm like way more chill. I mean, obviously as I got older, I can be more chill, but I was like, whoa, I don't want to be like an annoying little kid. Like that's too much. So yeah. A little story about my ass is grass.